Okay guys, we got a couple installations today and sort of a review. We're going to install this switch panel. It has a cigarette lighter charger on it, and it also has USB-C and USB. Guys, stay tuned for the bonus footage at the end of the video. I'll show different accessories that I installed off camera, and I think you guys will want to see that. It's pretty cool. Port for charging, both that I need, and a voltage meter in the center. So we're going to install it in the truck. I'm also going to install these. I'm probably not going to do a video on it, but I'll show. Just trying to get more light for plowing and getting ready for plowing season. So let me show you guys what we got and what we're doing. All right, so here's the subject. I'm currently right now, I just start installing a heater. Well, I just installed a heater on this plow pump and kind of gave it a refresh. I painted it so it looking nice and shiny and good. Cleaned all the terminals off and just getting ready for the season. One of my headlights is blue. One of the changeover modules burnt out, so I'm swapping all that out right now. But this video is about this panel installation because I got switches everywhere and I just removed a lot of switches. So I'll show you guys where I'm going to put it at. Also going to delete these switches out too. Got 1, 2 here, 2 down there, and I'll just have 1 for backup. But I'm gonna put it right here. So I'm gonna cut this out. This should fit perfectly. I've done the measurements before I ordered it, so we're gonna cut this little section out. And this is my plow truck, so I guess you have to find a location for it if you don't want to cut this specifically out or cut into the dash. It's kind of hard to find a place for it. Maybe you can mount it somewhere under, just not much room here. Well, you can mount it here in the panel. You can just cut a hole in the panel and you got this space to work with, so that'll work. But I'm gonna try to get it right here, right in my face, opposed to being down underneath the steering wheel. And I'm gonna show you guys how to wire it up. So I'm gonna pop this off. We need some trim tools. Let me take this my backup camera off really quickly. I'll be back when I remove this, guys. All right, we got that removed. Let me get some trim tools and pop this off really quickly. I'm trying to hide from the sun glare. Forgive me for that. But let's pop this piece off. Just want to get any kind of plastic trim tool. Get between this seam. All right, I'm plugging all of these plugs really quick. All right, so this is where we're gonna try to go with it, right here. All right, so we want to be 5 1/4 this way and 3 inches this way, so we can mount here, there, there, there. So we're gonna cut this out, probably with a router. I want to note, it did come with some screws. These are just a little bit too long. I don't want to have long screws in there, so I use the sheet metal screws I have, but you can use these. They are black, so they kind of had or go along with the theme of the panel, but kind of long. So I went with the sheet metal screws I have. Here's my ground wire I'm using. Just some 14 gauge wire for ground. I got it attached to the truck. Just stretching it out. I'm using this 12 gauge hot wire here. So I'm gonna cut it off here. I'm gonna run both to the battery. And I'll use insulator harness for that. All right, so you can use some wire loom if you want. I'm gonna use this insulator wire. I got a lot of this stuff around. I am a certified electrician, so I got wires for days for any application, but gonna use this. Almost out, gotta get some more. And like I said, this will work fine too. Gonna hook some connectors onto there. Gonna route it from the battery, probably come here and here because I'm already tied up with some of everything. And I'm gonna run probably along the lines of this to run over there to be closer to where I need to be, as opposed to coming through here somewhere. So I'll make a good connection here. You can fuse this at the hot, and I got some fuses, some inline fuses. I may just add one just for an extra safety measure. All the switches on that panel are fused, which is a good thing. So I may put an inline fuse in here. I have one, so we'll see. Let me just see. Let's get this ran first, and we'll deal with that in a second. I got how much wire I'm gonna need, just a little extra as well. I'm gonna use this wire loom and get it all ready. All right, just taping up some of my ends. I'll tape along the harness so the wires won't flip out, but yeah, we're in there now. All right, guys, I got an inline fuse here. I'm gonna use this. It's a 20 amp inline fuse. And I'll use these connectors for the battery. And I'll probably use these bullet splices for our connections, or maybe this for our switch connections. All right, so this is where we at right now. Wires ran through here. That's ran really nice. I got it ran nice under here. I'll show you all my route. I got it tucked in really nice. And coming out of there, and we're pretty much tucked all the way over there. Tucked, all nice and neat. And come under here, all under there. Came out right here. Here's my ground already hooked up. I'm gonna run my hot. And this is excess wire. We don't need this. Got the crimp tool, 8mm socket for that terminal, and my wire cutters. These are the wire cutters I'm using. So I'm gonna do this side, put the inline fuse over here. I'm gonna cut the excess off. All right, we got our connection there, and we got our inline fuse on. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna wait, so I'll leave it to the side. Put another harness on here. Let me pull this up some. And then I'll pour this to here. And yeah, we should be all good. It's in the evening time, so I'll be back out in the morning to finish up. And yeah, we're gonna hook the panel up. Stay tuned. All right, guys. We are about to install these bullet splices. This is what we're going to use to make our connections. You can go this route as well. Just find these a little bit more convenient or more easy to use. And here's the size. They come in all different sizes. 16 to 14 gauge wire. And you also got some smaller and larger, but we're gonna use these, connect them here. And what I've been measuring now is the depth of this to see if I have to make any cuts inside the vehicle. I got about a 2-inch height here. I think I'm gonna be clear, even though this is pretty wide. This is wider than the hole that's there. I think I'm gonna be fine. Let me show you all. If you go in a truck, although the hole is not as wide as both of those ports, the cigarette port and the USB port charger, we do have some depth here. So we may clear it with the depth. You guys can see we got some depth there, so they should clear it. And I can feed the wires and the fuses along this area right here, so it should be good without having to cut anything. Worst case scenario, I have to cut a little bit section of this out from here, like just cut this part out. Okay, triangle, just cut a little section of this off. But I think I'm gonna be fine. I think we got enough space there to make everything work without altering anything else. And yeah, we should be good, because look, there is some space here as well. Look, we got that space and this space as far as depth. All right, let's wire up some things, and then we're gonna go from there. All right, let me show you all before we connect these bullet connectors. And on the side with the power, you want to put these, the ones that's covered, and these we're gonna have on the side that's non-powered from the accessories. And I'll show you all the accessories right now that I got thus far. I'm going to install bar lights too for extra light. Show you guys that too. So here, of course, this is from the battery. Oh, I do want to note, you don't have to run a ground if you don't want, but I just want the power strictly coming from the battery. You know, there's a ground here that someone made. Got a test light on there, just testing all this mess up. There's a ground that somebody made. I'm just cleaning up all these wires. I'm gonna make all this stuff look super nice. I paused it here because I want to note that ground I just showed you that someone made. They tied all the grounds in for the accessories to that ground in particular. So whatever you want to place your ground there for all your accessories, or you can tie them in and run them all together and have your hearts going to the switch panel. You can just easy to kind of get a ground from somewhere on the vehicle. And you can ground even at the accessory itself somewhere, whether you got it in the front or the back. All you worry about is the hot to the switch. But here's my, this is for the strobe light up top, which is here. This is for to switch over the lights to the plow lights, and this is for the plow heater right here. See, I ran both harnesses right there. So this is the plow heater. I'll show you guys that. So thus far, we got to switch over to these from the regular headlights or the standard headlights. Here's the plow heater. Currently disconnected. There. Just installed this. Did a video on that on the channel as well. Let me put these bullet connectors on everything, and all right, pretty much almost done. I want to note that when you are installing these bullet connectors, make sure you twist the wire as best you can with your finger, with your hand. If I can zoom in. Just want to twist it up so it can seat inside the connector as well. See all of them seated inside of there. See that window there? It seats inside of there. So let me see if I can do this with one hand. So I got it twist up pretty good. You guys can see how it's seated right off in there. Now I can crimp it. Just want to note that. And then we're going to be installing the panel. I'll do the bar light off camera. I'll do it on another video probably. But yeah, we're pretty much there. We'll hook it hot up to the battery once we get the panel installed. We don't want those to touch and potentially. And since all these have their designated ground, I'll add another designated ground for the bar lights on top of here. Multiple spaces to ground to, so I'll add it there. But I will be getting a direct reading from the battery voltage meter with the hot and ground here. So just a constant power if need be. So what we got here is the backup camera, plow heater, light switch over, and the bar or the strobe light up top. I got room for one more switch, which is the bar lights, and yeah, we'll be done. Let me install the panel now, and let me crimp this first. And we're gonna install that, connect it to the battery, and see what we got. Okay, we're installed. I do want to note, I want to make this clear. You don't have to run it directly to the battery. You know the instructions recommend directly to the battery. You can run this on a fuse somewhere down here, tied in somewhere on a fuse, like also like this right here. Have its own fuses into the fuse box, so you have power when the key is turned forward. However, I did it this way, like they recommend, because although the voltage meter will stay displayed, this is equivalent to leaving a cigarette lighter plugged in the charger. That's how many watts this light is pulling out. Just like leaving this in here. This is constant 12 volts, whether the key is on or off. It's the same equivalent to, or a clock on a radio. And you don't have to worry about draining the battery for this low voltage display. So that's why I did it. I can always get a constant reading when I get in here when it's freezing cold outside. So recommend it that you hook it to the battery, but if you wanna hook it to the fuse box, whereas you turn the power on with the ignition switch, and you have power to the unit, then that's another way to do it. But this is the way I'm doing it. It's the way they recommend, and you don't have to worry about draining the battery with any of these switches, because they light up once you power them on, or once you switch them on, they light up. So while they're illuminated, you know there's power to them. You don't want to drain the battery that way. So for instance, if I want to turn I'm not sure what this control, but we'll see which one controls the light. It's not that one, so I gotta play the guessing game right now because I didn't follow the wires. It's not that one. There it is, the third one. All right, so the third one we know is our strobe, top strobe light. You can order them anyways. It's easy to differentiate the wires. You know, I didn't do it. I just was trying to connect them while the panel was tilted. It doesn't matter to me which one connected to where. There wasn't no perfect sequence for me, or no sequence that I wanted them to be in. Didn't matter as long as I can put a sticker here showing that this is for the strobe light. Let's look at the camera, backup camera, and see how that goes. And we can see how our USB-C port and our cigarette lighter. You know what? Since it's light up, we can just go here now. So you see that's powered on. Probably lesser voltage pulling this display than this. So also, once we start up, let's put the car in park now. Since we got the dash panel back on, we can start it up and let's see what we got. That's what we want. Yeah, you'll get that same reason if it was going to the fuse box. You'll get that exact reading. So me connecting it directly to the battery didn't alter the reading here. It'll be the same as if you run it into the fuse box, but this is what I wanted to do. And got a good charging alternator and everything's lit up. All right, let's see which one goes to where, and I can mark them. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's yeah, we're installed. We got illumination here, and you raise that up right there. Some low wattage LEDs illuminating both. No light there, so we'll get a different look. So let me see which one goes to the heater, and we know which one. Let's hook our. Let me mount the camera really quick, and we can get a look at that as well. All right, we got the camera installed. It's powered on. Let's see which one controls it. We know it ain't this one. Nothing. It ain't 2. Gotta be 4. Nope. Gotta be 5. I think it's 2. Oh, there we go. It's 2. So there's a little delay there. All right. Should shut off. There we go. There's a wireless signal between the camera and this, so expect that lag. This is plugged up to the cigarette lighter, so we can plug it here now or there. It doesn't matter. This is just testing. We got power. No signal. This is wireless. Turn it on. There's a lag there. Bam. All right. All right. One last test. Plow heater. All right. So plow heater is here. Bam. Let's go look at it. We're gonna grind. Bam. You lit up. If we turn it off, no power. All right, guys, it's a wrap for this video. I will be installing the bar lights probably in a separate video. And we all back in pieces. Everything's fine. Yeah, turned out pretty nice. Like I said, if you want to use the black screws that came with, I just didn't want long screws in here. You can use some screws that I thought fit perfectly. Just 1/2 inch screws did the job, and we look nice. And I'm gonna put all this back, clean these wires up, and we should be all good. But hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Terrence, I'm out. So no more need for this. Well, I got USB-C here and a USB charging, magnetic charger, charging my flashlight and my Beats or my cell phone. All right. Bar lights installed. Got to install the bezel. That's it. Oh, that's nice. Ready to go. And I install these lights. Put some silicone there so it won't just leak down in there. That is here. Just made a small hole wide enough for this wire, but I didn't want nothing to leak in there. And kind of go down through the harness and sit on those wires. Water will run down on that harness, through that harness, and sit down and pool inside of that loom. So just kind of stop that since it's tucked underneath. Nice. And then clean up all the wires. Just clean all the wires up on the dashboard. It's reading like this since I installed it 2 days ago. A lot of the stickers didn't have what I needed, so I kind of just made what I need. So this is for the pump heater, the plow pump heater. This is for the spreader, my salt spreader lights in the back, spotlight for the bar light, and this is for the camera. I gotta get something for here. If you turn this on right now, since we got constant power, lights is extremely bright. It is super daytime out. I can't look at them. Turn it off. Spotlight is the bar light. Insanely bright. And strobe light. Pump heater. Camera. Backup camera. Alright guys, it's been about a week since I installed that panel, switch panel. Truck has been sitting up, haven't been started neither. So here's a read. That's why I waited to publish it. Just wanted to give it the time to film this part or the final part of the video.